Hey everybody, you're listening to episode 230 of Tech Fetish. I am your host, Elena Yee, and here with me today are Justin Davis.
Hello.
And Mark Ryans-Lee.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
Good.
2:30.
I know.
What,
Wow.
is that what time it is?
No, it's
Close.
Well, it's close actually, but
Oh.
it's the episode number.
Oh, that's right.
We've
You
hit-
just said that, and I've already forgotten.
We've hit a round
If
number.
we have to start the time of the show at the same episode number, that's going to become a problem as we continue doing this podcast.
I mean, that wouldn't become a problem for many, many years.
Well, that's true.
That is true. Not even for,
Episode 500, then it's like, nah.
Well, actually, it would become a problem in about 40 episodes,
Why?
because then we'd be at 261.
What do we do?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a time paradox.
Yep.
We'd have to do some math.
It's my second
Yeah.
favorite kind of paradox.
You think that's a time paradox? I don't know if that qualifies.
Whatever, man.
Anyway, we have our traditional drink with us.
Oh, that's right.
And because Alex isn't here, I am actually
Are you
doing...
gonna do it?
I'm actually going to drink the Fresca for him.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. It's
we're
a big
winning.
day.
We're winning her over. Oh, dude, just enjoy that
Wow,
bromination.
what a trooper.
No, I'm doing it for the team.
So you're not slurping yet.
What if it was
We'll
the
give it a
bromination that you didn't like, and now there's no longer bromination in it?
Okay, I didn't slurp, but I did drink. And I have to say, I still don't like the taste of artificial sweetener.
You'll come around.
What if you pretend that it's not artificial sweetener, it's just the bitterness of grapefruit?
I actually like grapefruit.
Me too.
So I can tell you it has nothing to do with the artificial taste of artificial grapefruit flavoring.
And in a way, isn't everything just artificial?
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, I think if you're eating actual grapefruit, that's as real as you can get.
Everything's just electrical signals in our brain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're going that route.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you see it from that perspective, that's true.
Whenever you're talking about your brain, it's your brain talking about itself.
Okay.
And the brain named itself the brain.
No, I feel like someone else's brain named my brain.
That's true. I don't like thinking about my brain. It makes me feel like it's this other thing in my head.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it is its own discrete object inside your skull.
I don't like it.
It's doing most of the work, though.
I don't like you, brain.
It's the good part.
It's actually the reason why you don't even like it, though.
Yeah, it's true. I just made my brain just
I
made myself
know.
say that. Blah. Blah.
And on that note, okay, so we're back again after another 2-week hiatus. I am sorry about my very weak constitution, everybody.
People get sick. It happens.
I have never gotten sick twice in a month before. That was in stereo.
Let's try it again.
Is that my warning to never do it again?
I don't know.
No, that's just our reaction.
I never found it enjoyable, so I'm
Getting
not planning.
sick twice in a month?
Yeah, I'm not planning
Yeah.
on doing it again.
Yeah, usually that's too much. It's like you don't want to go to Disneyland twice in a month. You don't
What?
want to.
What?
Why not?
That sounds like a nightmare.
Well, actually, if you're going like during the daytime when like nobody's there or
Mhm.
like an off season, I think it could be enjoyable. And in fact, you probably
I
get
don't know.
sick of it because you could just ride everything you wanted to ride within like half a day. You'd be done.
I went to Disneyland maybe a year and a half ago, and we did get there early. We went on every ride we wanted to do, and by 4 p.m. I was ready to get out.
Well, you're a grown man. Have some kids, and then you can look at the world through the eyes of a child.
I feel like
It'll put some wonder back into your life.
Sure. I imagine the kids have the wonder. I imagine if I had the kids, that it might be even more miserable.
No. They look at things and they're so excited and happy to meet, whoever, Minnie Mouse or whatever, and then it's like you don't experience that. You're just like, Mark Ryan's just this husk of a man, just a hard exterior shell that just doesn't let any emotion penetrate through. And then a child just looks at things with so much wonder and excitement
Right.
that it will melt the cockles of your heart.
Is that how you feel right now? Like watching your own child like learn how to like crawl and walk and
Yeah,
talk?
it's great. She knows 6 words.
Wow.
Which
that's
ones?
pretty good.
She knows nose, mouth, chin, ears, moon, and ball.
That's pretty much all you need.
I'm not sure if that's still enough to convey like the important information. Like I have to go to the bathroom now.
Yeah, get her pretty far.
We're working on shoes. She's getting very close.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't say these. I want to clarify that she's not speaking. Well, if we're looking at a book and we say, "Where's the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Can you show me the moon?" She'll point to it consistently.
Does it work if you actually point or like have her look in the sky?
No, to her, a moon is a crescent shape. If
On a piece of paper.
Yeah, on a piece of paper. If we have other moons, we have other books that have full moons, and she doesn't know it's a moon.
Interesting.
But she knows shoes, and she knows chin. Yeah, it's great. I don't know how we started talking about this. Oh, yeah. So
Wow.
we took
Wonder.
my daughter to Muir Woods, and I showed Mark Ryan the picture where all she would do is point at the giant trees, and like she
In
can't
wonder.
she can't talk, but I like to imagine that she's like, "Yo, are you seeing this?"
Exactly in that voice.
She's like, "Mom, Dad, look at how big that tree is." She's just pointing at everything, and it's like, yeah, it makes you're able to like look at the world in like a little bit different way.
That's how I look at the world every day, just not Disneyland.
So are you constantly going through the office and being like, "Yo, look at that computer. Are you guys checking this?"
I mean, that's kind of what photography is.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. So, speaking of wonder, I'm going to jump right into the news. Speaking of wonder, so the
Yeah.
biggest thing that has come out of the last 2 weeks for me is the fact that NASA's head scientists are predicting that we will find alien life by 2025.
So what are they basing this on?
So I think the finding alien life is more of just finding like evidence of that.
Sure.
And honestly, the headline that we use is a little stronger than how they worded it because, I mean, they're scientists, so they tend to be a bit more reserved.
Yeah.
So the actual quote says, "I think we're going to have strong indications of life beyond Earth within a decade," which is the 2025 date.
Mhm.
And then continuing with the quote, she says, "And I think we're going to have definitive evidence within 20 to 30 years."
That's within our lifetime, hopefully.
Yep.
I know. Which I think is pretty interesting given, like, kind of on the flip side of that, which was the other news that, you know, all the research that they're doing on Mars is showing that it probably did support life at one point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like reading those two things makes me wonder, like, are we ahead of the party or are we showing up after the party's already done? Or is it like somewhere in between?
Oh, you're saying that whatever we find might be gone?
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be that.
That's dark.
We're the aliens
Maybe.
to someone else out there.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you just flip it.
And they'll
that
be
would
like, "Look
true.
at their skin."
What if they find like a Tech Fetish T-shirt on
Oh,
Saturn?
my goodness gracious. That's why none of us can ever run for like Congress. They'll just dig through old episodes and find all the garbage. Maybe Elena would be okay, but I would be in big trouble.
Well, I mean, you're reformed, right? You have a child now, and you speak as a father. So
Yeah.
your life perspective has changed. You've grown.
As a father, I hope she never goes back and listens to Tech Fetish, the early years. No, the life thing is awesome. I don't really understand the context of. I feel like she's just like, yeah. Are we gonna find alien life soon? Sure. Why not? Like, I don't like.
There was a bit more
it
behind
doesn't
the
seem like
quote.
it's based on any kind of like.
There was a bit more behind the quote. It was like based like one that we had identified, you know, that there are many more planets than we originally thought that are potentially hospitable to life. And then another fact was that she was saying that we have the equipment to actually measure this. It's just more a matter of, I guess, pointing that equipment at the right planet. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always the Drake equation, right? Like we've talked about this on Tech Fetish before, where
Nathan
it's
Drake?
like the Nathan Drake equation.
Uh-huh.
It was made by
Uncharted right here, folks.
Sony and Kevin Butler coined it.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like, you know, the number of stars in the sky multiplied by or divided by the number that have planets, divided by the number that have, you know, planets that are likely to be life sustaining, divided by the number, you know, yada yada yada, and you still end up with, like, even in the most pessimistic version, like millions of planets that would have intelligent life on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just a gigantic number. That plus the other half of it is what you said, which is the ability to monitor it and find
Right.
it.
Actually see it.
Yeah.
Which we have now because the iPhone 6 camera is so good.
Yeah.
Did you get paid to say
No. I thought that was just clearly understood.
that? I don't know.
It's implied.
So, you know, when so in March when Mobile World Congress was going on, and the Samsung Galaxy S6 got announced, and there was all that hoopla around like all the new mobile phones coming out. Did you guys see all the like billboards and like bus station posters that basically advertise exactly what you're talking about, which was, how superior the iPhone 6's camera was? But if you looked at them, I thought the hilarious part was there's like a small disclaimer at the bottom that says, like, to the effect of, this image has been, basically retouched to suit like a large form like printing.
Sure.
Which means they photoshopped it.
Sure.
So I don't even feel like that's really accurate to advertise.
Yeah, an 8-megapixel photo, you can't print it that big.
Nope.
Nope.
But you can use it to find aliens.
Sure.
I think it might be important to point out that they're saying, within the decade we'll find evidence of life, not necessarily intelligent life.
Right. So I felt like reading that, it was more like a whole, we found an amoeba kind of thing, not
Right.
necessarily we found like
An
little
amiibo?
green men.
Amoebos, yeah.
Wow.
The
Toys
the
to life.
elusive gold one is on a different planet.
Yeah, you got to go to Mars and get your Gold Mario pre-order amiibos.
But I wouldn't invest too much in them because of the influx of amoebos in space. It's going to drive the market price down.
It's gonna be the next Beanie Baby.
Yep.
Maybe they already have found life. And they're just like, well, when are we going to... I think in 10 years when we've already decided that we're going to announce it to the world, I think the world's ready.
Do you think that's what they're holding at Roswell?
Yeah.
It does almost seem like, based on the words used, evidence of life, that that seems plausible that we would find evidence of life in the next 6 months. I don't know.
Yeah, the time frame seems strange to me. I'm like, what does she think's going to happen in the next... Like, they have their missions already planned out for, like, the next 20 years. So it's like, where are we going in 20 years that she thinks this is going to change?
I don't know.
Still neat news.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not alone. They're bringing back the X-Files. They're bringing back Twin Peaks. And NASA thinks we're going to find alien life.
In Full House.
And Full House.
Fuller House, right?
Nothing stays dead anymore. They formed a team to make a Ghostbusters cinematic universe, to have a bunch of interconnected Ghostbusters movies that are all set in the same fiction. If you like something, it's never gone.
Unless it's Zone of the Enders.
Yeah, unless it's Firefly.
It might have been good though for that show to not have too long of a life though.
I don't agree with that at all.
I don't know. That's how I try to look at it, so I don't cry myself to sleep at night.
I think Firefly is really, really good. I think it's like super fans are a bunch of weirdos.
Well, for anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I like the show. Like, this is coming from someone that liked the show, but it's like you gotta let it go. It's been a long time. It's over.
Yeah.
Sorry, brown coats. That's what they call themselves.
Which ones?
The fans.
Oh, okay.
The Firefly fans.
Brown coats aren't the enemies.
I think they should have been the triple Fs. Firefly fans.
Sure.
But they chose to be the brown coats instead.
Well, it's a little bit more topical.
Yeah.
Switching topics. Other thing that I thought was pretty cool that's popped up in the last couple of weeks is that supposedly Stanford scientists, or Stanford researchers, I should say, have created an aluminum phone battery that charges in 1 minute.
Neat.
Very neat.
That's pretty cool. I wonder why they chose to pitch it as a phone battery. Maybe just because that's so, everyone understands.
That's where the money is.
I think it has to do with, application, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what's the device that people are using most where they're going to be constantly charging, and recharging it? That would be your phone.
Right. And so I guess the breakthrough from what I read of this story is that, one, it's a aluminum ion battery rather than a lithium ion battery. Aluminum being a lot more common, cheaper.
We can actually...
Safer.
Correct me, we can manufacture aluminum, right?
Well, I mean, it's an element that we have to find.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I mean, we manufacture steel.
Aluminium. Steel is a combination.
Yes.
Maybe. Anyway, the breakthrough was one. So one, it's using aluminum. Although I guess they had aluminum batteries invented before, they just didn't have them in a state that could be charged many times.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was some average lifespan of a lithium-ion battery, they stated, is roughly 1,000 charges.
Right.
Which seems a little bit lower than I tend to expect for my lithium-ion batteries, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's 3 years of
Yeah,
daily charges.
it
so
would
maybe
last
that
like
is-
a couple
maybe that is
years,
about
3
right.
years.
But I guess the average life of a aluminum battery before that was in the hundreds of charges.
Yeah, it was
if
much
not
lower.
less.
And so this is kind of a breakthrough because I think they got this one to be at what?
I think they said
7,500?
7,500.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So that's pretty good.
Aluminum is the third most common element in most abundant element on Earth after oxygen and silicon.
Wow. Okay.
It's the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust. It makes up 8% of the Earth by weight.
That's a lot of aluminum.
Yeah, we'll probably be all right.
Holy moly. I didn't realize it was that common.
So other advantages to this battery, besides, I guess, apparently having easily sourced material,
Which I just knew all those facts,
Yep.
by the way.
That's pretty good.
it's not as dangerous because it's not as flammable.
Okay.
And they also, so then that way you don't have to worry about, how, I don't know if you guys ever actually read like the carrier contracts with airplanes where they're like, where it actually says you're not supposed to bring on lithium-ion batteries onto your flight. And what does everyone do? They bring
Really?
like their phones and their laptops, which I
'Cause
think
they're
is
flammable?
hilarious. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's one of the reasons why, like for a while at least, Amazon wouldn't accept returns of motherboards, I guess, because like they were concerned about like the batteries like catching fire if like you sent it back. I don't know.
Jeez.
It's supposedly dangerous. So that's one advantage to them. Another advantage is that they have a higher storage capacity.
Okay.
So the thing is, though, is that this all sounds really great, right? So, you can plug it in, it charges super fast. It has
What's
all these
the
advantages.
catch?
Yep. So the catch is that it doesn't provide enough voltage yet.
Oh.
So in order to actually get enough juice, you'd have to have like a Gigantor battery right now. So I think that's basically the next step for them to try to get it.
Yeah, I think in that same story there was some quote from them saying, like, identifying that as a downfall, but saying that it wasn't a hard challenge to solve.
Yeah.
Like, it sounded like the difficult part they had solved, and now it's just a matter of, I guess, making it consumer friendly.
Making it go.
Yeah. Interestingly, so I follow Elon Musk on Twitter. He's an interesting fellow. And then just randomly last week, I think it was last week, he tweeted something about, like, don't get too excited about new battery technology. Like he seemed like a poor sport about it. And I didn't know what he was referring to until I saw this headline. I was like,
Do you think he's being a poor sport, or do you think he's just trying to be like ultra realistic about it? Because
I mean,
like,
I like to think both.
really?
I
Oh,
don't think- I
okay.
don't think he's being a poor sport. I give him the
No.
benefit of the doubt. Like, I assume that if this technology is legit, that he would be doubling down on it. you
Right,
know.
and I'm sure it's something that he's looked into. Tesla being
Him
quite
personally.
well.
He
Him
does
personally.
everything at all three of his companies himself.
Tesla being very, very big in battery innovations. So yeah, I'm sure he comes from a very educated point of view. I guess I just tend to see a lot of what Elon Musk's puts forward is self-serving.
Sure.
Well, to a degree, I think if you're running companies that are basically startups, you kind of have to
Sure.
a degree, right?
Every company is self-serving.
Well, so like if John Carmack says something, I would just believe it. If Elon Musk says something, I'm like, that's probably true,
Yeah,
but like
that's a fair point.
it's a little different.
Battery innovations.
Yep.
Battervations.
Battervations.
Batvations.
I'm really excited, not just that it's aluminum and cheaper, but that it charges more quickly. I've long held the opinion that so with cars, electric cars, right? They've been increasing the range of an electric car, and that's kind of been the stat that most people pay attention to. It's like, here's the new car, and it has a range of 200 miles. Here's the new one. It's got a range of 250 miles. For me personally, like, I would be fine with a range of 100 miles if the charge time was a matter of minutes rather than a matter of hours.
The superchargers charge in a matter of minutes, don't they? The Tesla ones?
Sort of. I
What's
think
that mean?
they charge like 50% and within like the first 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
That's still 30 minutes, right? If it was you charge up in a minute like this battery, that changes things wildly. Now, a 100-mile range is not a problem because you can recharge it in a minute.
Sure, but that means you'd also have the infrastructure available so that you could
Sure.
actually charge anywhere that you might be.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't think that would be an issue. I think honestly that kind of technology in the end you would get both, right? You'd get the range and you would get the quick charge.
Probably. I mean, probably that's where we'll get to. But like, I guess.
Well, the range matters less if you can charge up without it being a headache.
Right.
Yeah. I guess the point I was making was that if I would be totally happy if they stopped trying to increase the range of electric cars right now. They're at a fantastic spot, and then just 100% put their efforts into faster charging.
I don't know what the range of my car's tank of gas is for sure. We don't usually let it run all the way down, but can't be significantly more
It's
than
like a Honda Civic.
No, we bought a new car. We bought an Insight, which is a hybrid, but it doesn't
okay.
get fantastic mileage.
Yeah,
it's got to be
probably like
350.
350.
Yeah, like 350 is what I was going to estimate. So it's like it takes us forever to go 350 miles.
Right. And then the fill-up process is 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's also super convenient because there are gas stations everywhere.
Yep.
It's also $40.
Yep.
Gas prices did come down some though in
Quite
California,
Quite
which
a
is
bit.
nice.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I'm not like wealthy, but maybe I make enough money that I'm not like that sensitive to gas prices. Like if
Mhm.
I'm filling up for like $33 or like $48 dollars, that doesn't feel different to me in my wallet and bank account.
Mhm.
And I guess the other part is I don't drive like a big car and we don't commute with the car all the
Right.
time. So if you were commuting, 30 miles and filling up all the time, maybe you would feel it. But for me, you could have gas prices and I wouldn't.
You wouldn't change your behavior?
It doesn't impact my life and I can't even feel the difference financially.
Yeah. You're not a big gas user.
No.
You're not that gassy.
No.
I think in the context of his life, that term has a very different meaning.
Mm.
Babies.
Yeah. I blame it on the baby.
All right, gonna roll along to the next piece. So I actually thought this was interesting when it came out, which was that, everyone knows that the Apple Watch, you can't actually walk into a store and buy it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can't actually walk into a store and buy it. So like when it comes out on April 24th, you can't just like line up and then buy one the way you can with an iPhone.
I didn't know that.
You have to pre-order online. So you pre-order online, and then you have the option, at least in the United States, to pick up in store.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise,
What's the other option?
they just have it sent to you.
Why
at
wouldn't
home.
you do that? What kind of creep pre-orders something and has it delivered to the Apple store?
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
it's
save
in-store
on
pickup
shipping.
is an option on lots of things.
in-store pickup.
That's a creepy option.
Why is it a creepy option?
I just feel like that sounds like really like I want to be a part of this fanboy.
No, I think it's
launch.
actually,
No,
to
I don't see it
me,
that way at all.
I
Okay.
actually think it's more of like a safety or like just a security of your package concern. Because like sometimes the UPS
okay.
guy will like just leave it on your front door and like
Sure.
everybody can see it, and then maybe someone will steal it, right?
Oh, right.
So
Yeah, or just concerns about the day and date delivery. If you go pick it up yourself, then you're handling that aspect of it yourself.
Hmm.
A lot of in-store pickup is popular for amiibos.
Is that true?
is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
What's the
are you an
advantage?
Amoeba aficionado?
Yes.
You do have them all, don't you?
Yeah. If by aficionado you mean own every single one, then yeah, I guess so. Which I've actually never. I'm willing to pay for the shipping, but I can totally see why somebody wouldn't want to. I think it's to save on shipping costs.
Oh, do you save on shipping? Okay, well that's a different thing then.
So that part is not the news actually. That I actually thought it was interesting because
They don't want hobo camps outside.
that
their store.
that was the supposition by one of the other tech outlets, which was that according to this internal memo they had gotten their hands on, that the wording of it implied that no, because it wasn't just the watch, it was also referred to the new MacBook that's coming out on Friday. And that they wanted to basically change customers' expectations from having to line up to just ordering online and having it kind of delivered through that channel instead.
So when will the watch be sold in the store?
They
Like
haven't
the
said
day
anything.
after launch, because that would curb anybody that wanted to line up and get it, right?
I think there'd still be lines though. I mean, like, let's see, when I bought an iPad for work because I thought, I might need it for something, and then I decided to return it. That was like maybe 2 months after the iPhone launch, but it was still so impacted. There were people still lined up outside the front of the flagship store in downtown San Francisco
It's insane.
for the iPhone.
You know what they should do? They should spend, I don't know, $20, $30 and just get a big push broom. And then just just broom anybody that's on their sidewalk away.
Mm.
Just push. They got a tent, just push push them away. Push broom them all into a giant dustbin and just put them in the trash.
That seems a little rough.
So,
Well, they're welcome to stand up and walk away at a reasonable pace, and then they won't get push broomed into the dumpster.
so is that what you think they should do because you think that they want to get rid of people, or because you are against lines in general?
I mean, I don't know. I've always found the lines. I like technology, and I'm an enthusiast, and I work here. I've always found that aspect of it a little embarrassing.
I stood in line for a Wii.
I stood in line for a Wii, too, and I took a Wii from a little boy.
Did you
What?
really?
Yeah, I've told that story before, haven't I? So a lot of people stood in line at midnight, but Target opened at, 7 a.m. or whatever time they opened. And so I lined up for that so that I could get some sleep. And so I woke up really early. I got in line there at, 4 or 5 a.m. And there was already a bunch of people in line. They eventually come out and they're handing out vouchers to everybody in line. And they had 28 Wiis. And I was the 28th person in line. And so this mom and her little boy had been in line behind me for like a long time. They only got there like 15 minutes after me. And I got the last one. And the mom's like, I'm sorry, little Billy. I guess, you're out of luck. You're not going to be able to get your Wii. And he's like, I can't get one. And he like didn't understand.
Oh.
And I was like this close to turning around and like giving the kid my voucher and like saving his Christmas. But then I didn't.
What? What? Oh, man.
Yeah, I kept my place in line, then I got my Wii and drove home.
Wow. I feel like you shouldn't tell that story.
I mean, this is a long time ago. I didn't even live in California yet. It was many years ago. And it's not that bad. Like, are the other 27 people in line jerks for also not giving up their spots? Like, you wait in line, and then you get your thing. Like,
I mean,
just because I overheard, like, the sob story. And, okay, so here's the other part. The reason I didn't feel that bad is because that was just like launch day, so it's like you didn't know, no one knew the Wii was going to be like a thing at that point. I lined up on launch day because it's launch day and I wanted to be involved in that excitement and get the new Zelda game. I did feel worse about it after, when the Wii was impossible to find for like 6 months. Like you couldn't find them anywhere.
Right.
And then I was like, man, that kid probably really didn't.
He probably still doesn't have a Wii.
Yeah, like he probably really didn't get one until like the next spring. But at the time I just thought it was, the normal launch day craziness, and it didn't even, it didn't even cross my mind. I'm like, well, that sucks, but, they'll just go to some other store and get one. There was no indication at all that it was going to be that supply constrained.
that is true. We are looking at it from the lens of knowing what happened with supply.
I also got pulled over on my way there because I drove this old beater car that only had one headlight and didn't have an exhaust.
What?
And the guy pulls me over, and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I'm like, no. But there's a long list of reasons.
Yeah.
And he says it's because your car sounds like a jet airplane going down the road. And my line was always that I was going in the next weekend to get it fixed.
Yeah.
But it was like that for months.
Did he give you a fix-it ticket?
No, he didn't. He let me off.
That's
and
nice.
then I put my window down to talk to him, and my window wouldn't go up, so it was stuck down that entire winter.
That entire
Wait, and this is in Iowa, right?
Yeah.
Winter gets pretty cold out
Yeah,
there,
I mean,
right?
You wore a coat.
My goodness. I am such a Californian.
That's the story of how Justin got his Wii. Took it home and played Zelda, and it was great.
Did you play the Wii version?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, where Link is, he doesn't use his correct hand.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. Oh, isn't that weird that they inverted the entire game?
Yeah, Link is left-handed, but since they knew people were going to be using the Wii remote, and that was going to be like a sword hand in the Wii version, and their solution wasn't it was just to mirror the entire game.
Wow.
The entire game world. It's
So-
weird, right?
Yes, it's weird. Yes, I forgot that happened, and I'm still not over it.
Well, because you presume that like things are like a 3D space is constructed with like a specific thing in mind. Like someone's gonna feel a certain way going into a room and turning right or turning left, but then obviously not if you're just willing to completely flip it.
Yeah.
Like the dungeons are gonna make you feel a certain way, or that there's some logic to how they're constructed, but just to mirror it. Yeah, it's weird.
So, I actually, going back to the Apple line, not wanting basically a bunch of temporary vagrants out there. I actually talked to someone who has some familiarity with it, and they were speaking from their own personal opinion, but they actually thought that it was just has to relate to just the whole wanting people to, because the product is so different than everything else they've released before.
Mm-hmm.
I think they thought it was more had to do with just the fact they really want people to be able to like come in, decide, touch, feel that, and then kind of just send them home like with their order in place, that kind of thing.
So here's a theory. Maybe they're worried not that many people will line up, and all the headlines on launch day will be thin lines for Apple Watch.
Could be.
I think that's honestly a pretty good theory.
That's actually not a bad one because, again, the same person thought that, I guess they kind of feel that this is more of like kind of organic marketing for them in a way because it creates this like buzz, right? Because everyone's so enthusiastic that they're willing to take the whole day off of work to get in line, right?
Yeah.
So,
I wonder what Apple's expectations for the Apple Watch are, sales-wise. It's like, obviously, I'm sure they're hoping, like, they launched this iPad, they created a whole new product category, and it was an overwhelming success, and they sold 1 billion of them. And, like, I'm sure they want the Apple Watch to be that, too, but if it's not, does it matter? Are they, do they care? Do they just keep releasing watches, and it's just not a giant thing for them, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if somehow the smartwatch market became a thing and without Apple, then that might be a different thing than if it just never materialized.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like that seems like a reality. It seems more likely that just smartwatches in general.
Right.
I feel like it's more likely that smartwatches never take off than that they do take off without Apple.
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, I think it's like basically either the whole category rises or the whole category kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
Although it is interesting to see if it's going to heat up at all competition-wise, just because there's a rumor floating around that Google is actually trying to make their Android Wear watches compatible with iPhones. Because then that would actually basically provide like a lower price point for people to get into smartwatches that are compatible with the phone that they're using.
Or get a Pebble.
Or that. I see that you're not wearing yours today.
Yeah, it was the one day of the week that its battery died, so I had to charge it.
Well, that's true, right? Because you can go weeks before having to charge that one, right?
It's about a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I had it charged, last Thursday? Yeah, so that's a week ago.
Nice. Definitely a lot longer between charges than the Moto 360 that I've been using.
What is the battery life like on that?
So this one's actually interesting because when I had the screen kind of like pop on whenever I would move my wrist, I would say I would get maybe a day use out of it, depending. Like if you use navigation on this thing, though, like the battery just burns super fast.
Yeah.
But I actually started leaving the screen off so that even if I flip my wrist, it doesn't turn on. I found it was like super distracting, and that if I had it on like in a dark area, like a bar or like out just
a movie theater.
Yeah, like it was just really obnoxious.
Right.
So now the battery will last me like 2 days because like the screen just isn't coming on as often. I don't get a ton of notifications, so I think that's probably why too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 2 days is a fairly good mark. I still feel like charging daily is more hassle than a smartwatch is worth at this point. But at least at 2 days, like you're not worried about it getting through a day.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like, at least with some of the early reports of the Apple Watch, is it'll get through a day pretty much all the time, but it gets to the point where you start worrying about it.
Yeah, I would say that that's actually pretty similar to like just how the Android Wear watches are. I think it's because I have the screen off for most of the time. That's why it's lasting 2 days, which, as you pointed out, I actually really like because I don't really stress about, do I have to put it on the charger right now?
Right. Whereas the Pebble is an always-on display. You can see it whenever you'd like.
I like that EPaper.
It is EPaper. Yeah, there's not but it's not E-ink.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah, me neither.
Tech Fetish, everybody.
I think the EPaper, from what I understand, is a sort of generic term to describe low-power, always-on LCD displays.
It's not an LCD display.
I think it is an LCD.
But you can see it in sunlight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not an LCD display.
That's not what I heard.
To the Googles.
What is EPaper?
To the
You guys
Googles.
continue. Electronic paper, EPaper, and electronic ink are display technologies that mimic the appearance of ordinary ink on paper.
That's not very...
I mean, sounds like they're synonymous, or maybe they have a small semantic
I think they're
differences from
probably
one
very
another.
similar, but there's probably just some nuances in how the technology is executed that probably distinguishes them. Is my
Exactly.
guess.
I'm seeing electrofluidic displays, electrophoretic displays, interferometric modular displays.
We're definitely at the point that I don't care.
All right, we can move on.
Good.
I got plenty of topics because I was out for 2. Well, I wasn't out of the office, but we haven't been on for 2 weeks.
Sure.
So the other Apple-related thing that I got super excited for in principle was that there's a rumor that there could be a 4-inch iPhone coming back to the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I got excited for this because I feel like the one thing that does happen is that Apple will set a trend. And so maybe I'm still an Android person, and I use an Android phone for my personal phone. So I have my fingers crossed that if this becomes a real thing, then maybe Android phone makers will start making phones that actually fit in my hand
Right.
again, as opposed to things that are sized well for Alex's hand.
Yeah, so I think I've seen this rumor pop up a couple of times in the past week or two. And the first time I saw it, it suggested that the 4-inch iPhone would actually be kind of like the C version, which would be a bit of a bummer for this. I think I might have mentioned on a past episode that I recently picked up my iPhone 5, and I held it in my hand, and I was like, I'm doing it right now. This is a better size.
Yeah.
I like this better than my 6.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't feel like when I turned it on, I'm like, I can still see things just as well as I can see them on my 6.
You're the only person
feel
I
like-
hear that from. Everyone says that they think the 6 is too big, and then when they use it for a while and try to go back, it's too challenging for them to go back.
Man, it just, I feel like you give up nothing, but it feels better in the hand.
So
to
my
have a
question
smaller
is,
phone.
though, are all those people like blessed with gigantic hands,
Giant banana hands.
right? Because like, for example, I was talking to Steve, our EIC, and he's got like hands that are, I would say, like almost as large, if not the same size as Alex's
There's
hands.
no
No.
chance in hell they're anywhere near the size of
I
Alex's
think they're
giant
pretty close.
hands.
We'll have to check on this. But anyway, he got I think a 6+, and he's like, I love this thing. And I was like, for you, I can totally see that. But for my
Yeah.
hands that are appropriately sized for my body, like it's just way too big. A 6+, just way too big.
You got tiny hands. You need a tiny phone.
I don't know. I wouldn't say they're tiny. They're just not like gigantic.
They're pretty tiny.
Maybe I am blessed with exceptionally good eyesight, so that a smaller screen is not a problem for me.
Are you blessed with exceptionally good eyesight?
I have pretty good eyesight.
Is it better than 2020?
I don't know. I've never had it measured.
Ugh,
But you don't wear glasses, right?
No.
you're a jerk.
That's awesome.
Do you wear glasses?
I mean, I need glasses really badly. I got a prescription, then I never actually went and got it filled. I can't see things. I have to sit at the front of conference rooms because if I'm at the back, I can't see, what people are talking about.
So you see that book? You're actually closer to it than me. The God of War book.
I can't read the word under God of War.
What, okay. I was going to ask, what about the word that's going vertical at the bottom of the spine?
No, I can't read that.
Oh, okay.
What's it say?
Pretty sure it says blue canvas.
Shit. Shoot.
That is correct.
No.
Ding, ding.
Ding ding. One for Mark Ryan.
That's also why I don't like to drive at night.
Oh, wow.
Signs are blurry, 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 blurry. Then they're here and then they're gone.
Wait, you don't wear glasses at all?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Because
No, everything's really blurry for me. The entire world is blurry
Oh, I had
for
no
me.
idea.
You
Okay,
should
so
get
it's,
glasses.
it's not just me. So it's the one thing I always forget to do when I start a new job is to tell people that I wear glasses, but I don't actually wear them most of the time unless I feel like I need to see. So like,
Yeah.
like driving, watching a movie. So like if I'm wandering through the halls of our office and you wave at me and I don't wave back, I am not trying to be a total raging jerk. I actually probably didn't see you.
Wow. I feel like I'm going to use this knowledge to my advantage.
Yeah. The whole world's blurry
Just
for me.
surprise
And I
you.
know I got halfway there. I went to the eye doctor and I got my prescription to find out how bad my eyesight was. And then I just never got the prescription filled.
Oh,
I mean, I had a kid. I don't know. What do you want from me?
I don't know.
It's one of those things like
What
I
if
know.
your kid looks totally different? What if you don't even know what your kid looks like?
It's like I'll see tree leaves for the first time. That's a thing that people report a lot. Once
Oh.
It's like, man, you can see things that I didn't know you could like see before you had glasses. No, I know. I'm not like defending not getting my prescription filled. I know that it's something I need to do, but I just never I'm tired when I get home. I'd have to take off work to go do it during a work day or go on the weekend, and my weekends are precious to me now. Like I'm living my life. Like it's not like it's essential in like this survival sense.
So how did you pass the eye exam on your
I had to
DMV
lean.
test?
I had to lean way over the.
They let you do that?
Well, the woman was like, I read off some letters, and then she paused, and she's like, "You want to try those again?"
Oh my goodness. She's the reason why grandma is still on the road.
You want to try that again?
My goodness.
I also was one question away from failing the driving test.
Oh, that's okay.
In Iowa or in California?
California.
Oh, wow.
She knows how easy it was, and that's what you were reacting to.
Because the guy, he marks it off. He marks it off in real time, and you're
Yeah.
allowed to miss, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you're allowed to miss 5, and I got like 4 of the first 6 wrong, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then, but then I aced, and then all the rest of them were correct.
Okay.
But it was really because I'm seeing
Wow.
him like, and I'm like, ugh.
Wow. What was at the beginning? They just front loaded that test?
I think they have different configurations of it. I mean, I know that they do to
Yeah.
prevent cheating and whatnots.
Oh, okay. So we're just talking only about the written tests then.
Have I also told you guys this? I had a whole day at the DMV. No, not the driving test, just the written test.
Okay, because the reason I had that face was because I had a friend in high school who's like, I got like, I think you needed like a passing score of 70 out of 100, and he's like, I got a 71 on my driving test, and I'm like, I do not want to be in a car with you.
Ooh,
I don't think that's a safe idea for anybody.
Did I tell you the story of getting? I've told you the story of getting my photo taken at the DMV, though.
I don't know.
No.
Oh man, so this is the same day. This all happened in the same day. I had 3 run-ins with 3 friggin' comedians that worked there. I guess I can't be mean to the woman that helped me pass the eye exam, but so I go to get my picture taken, and what I think happened is the woman just didn't want to adjust the camera because I was a little bit taller, and so she's like, I need you to put your chin down. She's like, tuck your chin lower. And then she's like, and so I tuck my chin, and she's like, lower. And then I do it more, and she's like, I need you to put your chin lower than that. And so I'm going, I'm like,
Can I see that?
yeah. And so now look at the final photo. It's pretty good, right? And you can't see this photo, and we're not going to put it on the website. You're never going to see it. I'm sorry, listeners. But the other thing about this photo is it's just my head. Like,
Yeah.
it's my giant head. And then if you look at other people's driver's license photos, it's like a bust. Like, their shoulders are in it.
It depends what DMV you go to. So, for example, if you take your photo, was this at the San Francisco branch or was this somewhere else?
It's San Francisco.
Okay, so they might have changed it, but like
My wife's is not like this.
So for a while at the San Francisco branch, like you would get more of like a zoomed out shot, so you get like maybe some of like your like
Yeah.
clavicle or something, right?
Yeah.
If you went to Daly City, they take the worst photos there. Like both the times I went there, of like the 4 times I've renewed my license or whatever, I don't remember how often I've done it now. You like half the time it's just like my hair's everywhere and it's like this and it's just like straight on. It's so unattractive. Like it's like the quintessential like stereotypical DMV photo that you never want to show anybody.
Yeah.
If the state ever needs to raise some money, they should open up like you can pay $30 to provide your own photo. And if it's like a photo, they'll have to like approve it, like say yes, this is a valid picture of you. It's
Or
representative.
Like, why can't it be like a
Or-
passport where you can go to many different places and have a passport
That's
photo
true.
taken and have your choice?
Well, I feel like a passport photo, you can provide your own photo, can't you?
You can. But the other thing too is that they could probably like just charge you a premium and have like a real professional photographer on staff, and you're
Sure.
like, I'll pay an extra, I don't know, $100. So I mean, something like enough where it like it would make some money,
$30.
make some money for the state.
Yeah,
But at the
$30 is
same
enough.
time, like
You should have to
I would pay for my vanity. I would.
You
You
should
know.
have to pay $30 to not be an organ donor.
To not be?
Yeah,
Oh, you should have to.
it should be mandatory.
Mm.
You can pay to opt out of it.
So, no, I don't
I
know
don't
if
know
I
if you
agree
can,
with that.
I don't know if you can get away with that though,
You're
just
taking
because
your organs.
because
You're dead.
well, no, because it's like religious stuff reasons, right? So
Nah,
then
who cares?
then people would basically say like you are basically charging us to, you know, for our religious beliefs, and that's against what the state is supposed
You
to
know
be
what
about,
I say to
et cetera, et
that?
cetera.
Get over it.
Justin Davis for office, everybody.
That's true. This is one of those. Well, the thing is, so here's the deal. Like, I'm often joking, but then I never say JK, and then we just move on to the next topic. And then it's like, well, okay, maybe I should have let people know that I'm just spoofing and goofing.
Are you spoofing and goofing?
I was spoofing and goofing.
Okay.
We are having one of those episodes this week.
I don't know if you know what a true spoofing and goofing episode is.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys have to
As-
school me on this then.
As someone who's spent the better part of this past week with one Nick Vargas.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
You went on a hike with him.
We went to Big Sur. We had barbecue last night. We played Towerfall.
Wow.
So the Tech
He
Fetish
thought
era,
he was good at Smash Brothers.
but he was not.
oh.
Well,
Classic
I mean,
Nick.
he was better than his friends.
Yeah, but then you showed up, and now there's a new king in town.
Dethroned.
That's funny. New King in Town, I think, literally was words that came up, but during Towerfall, which was not about me because I'm terrible at that game.
It was Jerry Block founded Tech Fetish, and then Scott Lowe, and then Nick Vargas, and then Scott Lowe, and then you. And so Nick Vargas occupies an interesting space where he's like sandwiched in like he's the meat in the Scott sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I need to reframe that statement in my head so I actually interpret the way you mean it.
It's fine. whatever you're picturing in your head is no problem. No, Nick was just a goofy guy. Didn't really like talking about tech that much, but enjoyed talking about dinosaurs and silly hypotheticals and whether you would rather have spoons for hands or a mouse head.
A cat's
cat head.
What's your answer, by the way?
Wait, what was the question again?
You
said dinosaurs, and I was thinking about the
sure,
dinosaur
the Brontosaurus
news.
is back.
Yeah.
So you're forced. You can't opt out of this. You got to
Okay.
either have spoons for hands,
Wooden spoons.
wooden
Oh.
spoons for hands, or a cat head,
Bamboo or like standard wood?
Whatever would.
All right.
or a cat head.
For life.
There is a correct answer.
I think so, too.
There's so many advantages and disadvantages to each.
I feel like there are no advantages to either.
Well, no, I mean just
Eating
like
soup.
if this is the only two choices I have to see it from that context, right?
Okay, so you're saying advantages versus the other option.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gosh, I don't know.
I would
I think I'd have to go with the spoons.
Oh, wow.
I would take the cat head.
I'm cat head as well.
Why?
I feel like
I use my hands
I
all
feel
the
like
time.
if my head was a different shape than it is right now, I'd probably go through life mostly the same. I'd have to get a new motorcycle helmet. I'd have to do my hair
But
differently.
Maybe possibly a
be
new
able to
wife.
Speak.
I don't know.
You wouldn't be able to speak English. You'd just be
I don't know if
meowing at
that's part of the
everybody and
deal.
everything.
I don't know if that's part of the deal.
I don't know. I mean, like that. Like, can that tongue actually like move in shapes that actually could reproduce human sounds?
Philosophers have debated for decades if animals could speak if their mouth was just shaped differently.
Why philosophers? Why not like biologists?
For centuries, people have said the only reason my cat can't speak is because of the way its mouth is shaped.
Okay, people are not the same as philosophers. Are not the same as scientists.
Wait,
But
Is that
think
true?
of, think of all the things that you like to do that you would not be able to do with spoon hands.
I
mean, you'd be
feel
really good at
like
tossing salad.
However,
Yeah.
honestly, if I had two spoons for hands, I am sure that someone could engineer me an attachment. Like I could probably I'm assuming that because they're wood, I wouldn't actually have nerve endings in them. I could probably remove the spoon and create an attachment to that area.
You can't remove the spoon, but you could you could snap something onto it. I suppose.
So I could do something like that. However, if I had a cat head, you're not changing that. That's it. You're just done.
I feel like she has a good point.
You can get some kind of hand attachment, okay, some Game of Thrones spoilers.
Yeah, don't do that.
Whoa.
No.
That's old spoilers.
Nope.
That's a spoiler.
A person gets their hand chopped off, and
Yeah.
then they get a replacement hand.
And is he Krang from the Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, it's Krang from the Ninja Turtles. He's on the new season of Game of Thrones.
Spoiler.
Oh, you boys and your spoilers.
It's a fake spoiler.
Anyway, yes, I think that's how I would answer. Final answer.
Okay.
Done.
I'm still sticking with cat's head, though.
Me too.
That's
I
fair.
don't think my wife would want to make out with me anymore.
Yeah.
Cats are super cute, though.
Yeah, but they have those rough tongues. I don't know.
Sandpaper tongues.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to make out with that. That's gonna be kind of painful.
It puts a stop to a whole lot of things.
Yeah, it would.
Do you think? Well, okay. Never mind. This is where I draw the line.
Moving on. More tech. So it's kind of a brief hit, more of anything else, but Xbox One finally got an over-the-air TV tuner for the U.S. and Canadian markets, which I have been actually waiting for a long time, just because I feel like if I'm doing a lot of other things on my Xbox One, why couldn't I just watch normal TV?
Wait, Xbox One has an over there. You can just watch over-the-air channels on it now?
Mm-hmm.
What?
You have to buy the tuner.
You have to buy the tuner.
Oh, okay.
And the
I was
most
gonna say, what?
interesting,
They
the
just-
most interesting part about it, though, is that they partnered with a third-party manufacturer. So Hopodge, which I'm probably pronouncing incorrectly, but
Hoppage.
Hodgepodge?
like,
I always pronounce it hoppage.
was it?
I don't know.
Hobbit.
I used to have a Hoppage TV tuner for my PC, like in 2001.
Yep. Yeah, I actually still have one of their TV tuners, like the internal cards.
Yeah.
But they partnered with them, so like their existing like USB stick tuner that works now with Xbox One, and then they're supposed to come out later this year with an official Microsoft branded one that'll be cheaper, because the current one is about $80, and the one that's supposed to come to market with, I guess, the branding is going to be $60.
What a way to announce your product. Hey, buy this thing, or just wait, and we'll have a cheaper one in a little bit.
But that's still more expensive than the official Xbox One TV tuner for other markets. So
Interesting.
I think that one's like $30.
I wonder if
or like
Microsoft wants to
$35.
buy that company.
I don't know. I actually reached out to Microsoft to ask them, why only this one third-party piece of hardware, because there are other TV tuners on the market. You guys are essentially, in my mind, running a version, like a stripped-down version of Windows 8 on Xbox One. So, like, is this a driver's thing? And they gave me an answer that kind of, I feel like, maybe validates that, where they said, to ensure quality, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially they said, to ensure quality, we stuck with, like, one product so we can ensure the best experience for our users. So that makes me think where it's like, okay, they don't want to invest a lot of time in making sure like their system's compatible with everything out there.
Sure. So does it interface with existing software, or is there like a new app?
Well, so the Xbox famously had really, really robust software for live television. Like a TV guide built in and all the snapping and stuff, but you just had to pass through, pass that television signal through the back of the device. So presumably, I mean, I don't know, but it'd be really weird if the signal coming in from the TV tuner didn't work with all that.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to work with the One Guide stuff.
And that's the word I'm looking for. One Guide.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Xbox on. Xbox. Play Game of Thrones.
Yep. Pretty much that kind of stuff.
That was a good Fran Mirabella.
Was I being Fran?
He's just the only person I know that uses Kinect commands.
I would too if I had room for it on my entertainment system. I've run out of room.
For the Kinect or for the Xbox?
For the Kinect. I actually have my Xbox 360's Kinect still on my TV, but I'm like, okay, where would I put the second one now? So I haven't really figured out a good spot for it yet.
It's time to discontinue the 360 one.
Probably.
I guess. I don't know. I like having it for, Dance Central whenever I get in the mood for that. Yes, I play Dance Central.
By yourself?
Yeah, there's not enough room for me to play it like co-op. Like, and honestly, playing those kind of games co-op is a little dangerous because I feel like you're about to always like punch someone or elbow someone in the face.
Sure.
Never played it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a good party
Probably.
game, especially when everyone's been drinking. It's funny.
That sounds incredible.
Then you just kind of film some blackmail material in the background.
Yeah. Mark Ryan will just sit back and watch.
Yep. As someone who doesn't drink, watching other people get drunk and do silly things is a pastime of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like at my birthday.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Before I was a father.
Was that 2 years? Was that only 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It seems like so long ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You left before that night became a real disaster, though.
That's what I usually do. I usually wait for
Mike Ryan is the king.
I wait for the tipping point. I'm like, all right, bye guys.
He's the king of time of the
So
timed
you're
exit.
kind of like the canary. So like if I see you leaving, that's time to
If
go.
Mark Ryan
That's-
leaves, you need to think real hard about what's about to happen.
Good to know. I'll keep that in mind for the future.
That's super true.
Yeah.
More Xbox news. This one also I thought was kind of interesting. Xbox 360 is supposed to get 2 terabyte hard drive support. So it's going to be available for preview users.
Wait, Xbox 360?
Yeah, Xbox 360 is supposed to get 2 terabyte hard drive support
Okay.
sometime later this year for like the general populace. And I thought about it. Xbox 360 games aren't that big. That would actually hold a pretty decent amount of games if you wanted to go digital, which I know you have, concerns about, Justin. But
Well, whatever.
well, whatever. Live and let
Is that
live.
where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with everything in life generally.
Now that you're a father.
You only YOLO once.
Oh God.
That's what I've heard.
And so I don't want to spend my energy. It's like, fine, do whatever you want. Buy games digitally. I don't care. Do whatever you want. I do have problems with buying games digitally, but I still do it a lot for the convenience of it.
Yeah, I mean, it takes up a whole lot less space not having all those boxes on my shelf.
Right, and when you want to switch games, you don't have to stand up.
It's true.
Nice.
It's the ultimate in laziness.
What if you could have a drone? Put QR codes on the front of discs so that the drone knows what it's doing, and then it can take one disc out and put the next one in.
I like that you live in a future where you have a drone advanced enough to do this for you, but it still needs a QR code to identify.
Well, no, I think in the
Yeah,
even in that future, you'd still have to like remote control the drone, so you're not really saving yourself that much work because you actually have to navigate that drone to the shelf.
But actually, I have a daughter.
Oh, that's your drone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Does she read QR codes?
Go put this disc in the machine and go bring Daddy a beer.
You're gonna get the beer in your disc tray and the disc
true.
in your hand.
No, the sad truth about all this is that the real truth is that there's no more playing video games in my house.
That's not true. You bought a whole new TV so you could play Dragon Age.
I made a big mistake yesterday, and I ordered Bloodborne.
From sitting up close to it.
That's true. You did what?
I ordered Bloodborne.
Don't do that.
I don't know what's going to happen.
I hear a lot of pain
I would say
involved.
there's a 75% chance that I play it for an hour, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, that game's a trash pile.
But it looks like I see the videos that Eric Sapp puts up.
Yeah, I watch a lot of those
It's
too.
like, oh, this looks so cool.
It's like half the reason I'm Facebook friends with them.
Is he like totally mastered that game by now?
I don't know. He just posts random clips of like him running around dark areas and like I don't know. There's something cool about it. There's something cool about it.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up this particular episode. Is some PC news. Microsoft has announced the Surface 3 tablet, which replaces their RT line of tablets, which was the Surface and Surface 2.
Right. I guess
And
I think it's worth clarifying. There was the Surface Pro 3 already out, but when they introduced the Surface Pro 3, they didn't have an RT or like a step down, a non-pro version of it at the same time.
And so this basically fills that void, but this is actually a full Windows tablet.
Right.
So this is running an x86 chip. This is running, I believe, their Cherry Trail chip.
Cherry Trail.
Yeah, I mean
That
that's not the official
Parts or
name for it,
something.
but that's what people have been calling that chip, while waiting for it to come out.
Okay.
And it's like a little bit cheaper, so it starts at $500.
It's pretty cheap.
But for a full Windows tablet that you can basically use as a laptop replacement or like a laptop tablet hybrid, it's not a bad starting place. I mean, the iPad is already in that range. And this you can still use, normal business applications with, your normal desktop applications with.
Right.
So I'm actually excited to see that because I was worried that because they only put out just the Surface Pro 3 originally that they were like maybe giving up on that kind of line of devices.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see them give up on RT specifically.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing never made sense to me.
Nope.
And so, yeah, this is actually pretty interesting to have a $500 Windows laptop that can also just be a tablet.
Yeah.
That seems pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah, I mean, they're not giving up on that Surface line.
Nope. So hopefully we'll see a Surface Pro 4 eventually.
Probably.
Something that's a little more robust, maybe even has a better battery life than even now. So that's one bit of news. And then the last one is plugging a little bit here, but I wrote a how to build your own PC feature. It's on the site.
It's big.
It's a very big feature. I remember I am Justin because Justin's our features editor. I was like, so how often do you break up your features? And he's like, he gave me a certain word count. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have like 7 pages in this one feature. He's like, that's a big feature.
Yeah, that's probably longer than anything I've ever written.
Yeah. But in case, I know there's definitely listeners out there who already build their own PCs, but I know a lot of you guys have been thinking of doing it and, hadn't jumped in yet or weren't sure where to start. So that's up there for you if you want to get started. Obviously,
that would have been really useful for me like a year ago.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't here yet.
I know.
I was at other workplaces.
I had to ask people, and that's annoying.
Ugh.
Yeah,
It's just
but
the worst.
Yeah, no, Elena's feature will walk you through the whole thing from like start to finish. It's
Right.
not just. I feel like a lot of build a PC guides like it's like a part picking guide,
Mhm.
but Elena's feature is like the philosophy behind like like a power supply and what you need and what it is, and
Right.
you know, you can dive into all that if you want, or if you do just want suggestions on parts, like all that's in there too.
So the reason it's up there, you know, to kind of help everybody out if they are planning to build a new PC or wanted to, because, you know, GTA is coming out, GTA 5 is coming out next Tuesday, and then we have a little game called The Witcher 3 that's coming out at the end of the month. So, yeah.
Build a 4K gaming PC.
You can
get a
do that
4K
too.
monitor.
And honestly, until I wrote that feature and also started looking at some of the GTA 5 4K screens, I was like, 4K, I think I can wait. And now I'm actually thinking of getting a 4K monitor. So we'll see. I don't know. So if any of you out there already are gaming in 4K or have 4K monitors, let me know how you like it. I'm just not sure if I want to go that route just yet, because that also means that now when I watch videos, they're going to be like that big. I'm holding my hands in a tiny square for people who can't see. They're going to be like tiny on my screen.
Yeah, but you can have like 6 of them going at once.
That's true. I can like start doing that ADD thing that everyone else does.
You can watch all 6 Lord of the Rings movies in 1080p
I could.
at one time. Is that right? Or 720p?
Well, yeah. Not 1080, but
You could watch 4 of them.
you could watch 4 of
Yeah.
them.
So, well, I was gonna say the good ones, but it's not quite right.
Which ones are the good ones?
Probably just Fellowship of the Ring, in my opinion.
So the first one, that's it?
Yeah.
Just that's it? You watch the first one, you're done? It's kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
I mean, absolutely loved the original Lord of the Rings movies, but in hindsight, it's like Fellowship's the only one that I'm willing to like. I'll watch that movie on a pretty regular basis.
Last thing about that feature, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Mark Ryan, because he did all the photography for it.
Aw.
He made everything look so awesome, and he was super, super awesome about the whole process. Thank you again.
You're welcome. It was fun.
This guy knows his photography. So if you have photography questions, definitely hit him up. I'm just going to pimp you out.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, well, that about wraps it for this week. As always, if you guys have any tech questions, you can send them to us at techfetish@ign.com. We have our Facebook group and our awesome Google Plus group as well. You can always post there. Or you can reach out to us on Twitter. I am at MorphingBall.
I am at Error Justin, ERROR Justin.
I'm at MRSALLEE.
No, none of the 2 L's, 2 E's.
And you know what? It comes to me how it comes to me.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Anyway, I will stop giving you a hard time. That does it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.